Top HFY stories, Masters of Boiling Water. The Galactic Assembly prided itself on being a melting pot of species, cultures, and knowledge, from the towering Zeltraxians with their crystalline symphonies to the delicate Rinthari who sculpted with beams of pure light. Every species had something that made them unique. Humans, however, remained a mystery. "Oh, they're harmless," the Zalurian ambassador had once said, "primitive, industrious, adaptable, but ultimately unremarkable, except for their peculiar obsession with boiling water." And that was where humanity's reputation began. On the frontier planet Naxxius V, tension simmered between the Tarxan Collective and the Zerl Dominion. For years, the two species had squabbled over territory, treaties, and trade. The humans, latecomers to the galactic stage, were caught in the middle. Their colony wasn't strategically important or resource-rich, but its location was just inconvenient enough to attract trouble. The local Tarxan governor, Karak, strode into the human settlement with a battalion of soldiers. His carapace gleamed, and his mandibles clicked irritably as he barked orders. "We demand compliance, surrender your resources, and we might leave your pitiful colony intact." The human representative, a grizzled man named Captain Elias Moore, greeted Karak with a polite smile. "Governor, you're welcome to join us for tea. We'll discuss this properly." "Tea?" Karak's antennae twitched. "What foolishness is this?" "It's a human tradition," Elias replied calmly. "We boil water, steep herbs, and talk, civilized, you know." Karak's mandibles clicked again, this time in confusion. He signaled his troops to stand down. "For now, fine, humor me." The humans didn't seem to notice the towering Tarxan soldiers flanking their streets. Instead, they bustled about preparing kettles and arranging mismatched cups on wooden tables. Steam curled lazily into the air, carrying with it the subtle aroma of mint and chamomile. Karak stared, perplexed, as Elias poured steaming water into his cup. "What purpose does this serve?" "It's more than water," Elias said with a smile. "It's hospitality, it's diplomacy, it's—" He paused, letting the steam rise dramatically. "An opportunity." As Karak hesitantly sipped the tea, his compound eyes flicked toward the distant horizon. There, the unmistakable shimmer of a Zerl battle cruiser loomed. "What is that?" he hissed. "Oh, that?" Elias set his cup down. "That's the Zerls. They've been watching us too." By the time the Zerls landed, the humans had already prepared a second round of tea. The Zerl commander, a sleek being named Yatan, slithered into the settlement with their contingent of soldiers. "Humans," Yatan hissed, "you'll hand over your colony to the Dominion, or face annihilation." "Commander Yatan," Elias said smoothly. "Tea?" Yatan recoiled slightly but recovered quickly. "This liquid holds no interest to us." "You'd be surprised," Elias said, his voice calm but firm. "The Tarxans are already enjoying it." Karak's mandibles clicked furiously. "We're tolerating it." But Yatan hesitated, glancing at the steaming kettles and the humans' calm demeanor. Eventually, curiosity won. For hours, the humans played host to two opposing factions, pouring tea and exchanging pleasantries while the tension in the air grew unbearable. "I don't understand," Karak growled. "Why haven't you chosen a side?" "Because that's not how humans work," Elias said. "We don't pick sides, we solve problems." "By boiling water?" Yatan scoffed. "By boiling water," Elias agreed, "and building bridges." Karak's antennae twitched irritably. "Explain." Elias leaned forward. "The Tarxans need mineral rights, the Zerls need shipping routes, both of you need peace, and humanity needs time to grow." He gestured at the steaming cups. "So here's what we propose." By the time night fell, the humans had done the impossible. Over cups of boiled water and humble negotiations, they'd brokered a tentative agreement. As Karak and Yatan departed, each begrudgingly impressed, Elias finally allowed himself a small smile. "Boiling water," Jenkins, the colony's engineer, muttered as he packed away the kettles. "I still don't get it." Elias chuckled. "It's not about the water, Jenkins, it's about the message. In a galaxy full of lasers and warships, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit down, share a drink, and remind everyone that we're all just people, bugs, lizards, or otherwise." And so humanity's strange reputation continued to spread across the galaxy. Species marveled at the peculiar primates who could boil water and use it to reshape the stars. The next step, masters of diplomacy. The unexpected peace between the Tarxan Collective and the Zerl Dominion wasn't just a one-time victory for humanity, it was the first of many. Over the next few months, the human colony on HFY became a hub of negotiations, trade, and treaties that shocked the entire galaxy. Every time a potential conflict brewed, humans would quietly get involved, offering tea and a calm voice of reason. No one knew what made humans so adept at these delicate situations. Some said it was their ability to think outside the box, to see solutions that no one else could. Others argued that it was the surprising effectiveness of boiling water as a symbol of peace, a small act that demanded patience and humility, both of which were in short supply in the galaxy. But in truth, it was something else entirely: humanity's gift for empathy, their fundamental desire to connect and understand others, regardless of the species. On a barren, desolate planet on the outskirts of the galaxy, a new situation was about to unfold. The Icthar and the Bluviths, two massive and powerful factions, had been in a near-constant state of war for centuries. Their homeworlds were shattered, their resources depleted, and their civilizations fractured by endless skirmishes. The two species had never known peace, and every diplomatic effort to halt the fighting had been met with failure. The human delegation that had been sent to mediate the conflict wasn't the first, but there was something different about it. Led by Ambassador Adira Klein, the humans arrived with nothing but their reputation and their boiling water. "We've arrived on behalf of the Galactic Peace Coalition," Adira said with her usual calm, standing before the two warring factions. "Before we start talks, let's make sure we're all in the right frame of mind." The Icthar and Bluvith diplomats scowled, clearly confused, as humans began unpacking their equipment. The Icthar were known for their massive size, their pale grey skin covered in hardened scales, while the Bluviths were slender, with dark, almost liquid-looking skin and bioluminescent patterns that danced across their bodies. Neither race had ever been particularly friendly to one another, let alone to outsiders. Adira smiled warmly and gestured toward the steaming kettle. "We've got some herbal tea prepared, you're welcome to join us." The reaction was immediate. The Icthar grumbled, turning away, while the Bluviths recoiled slightly at the offer, but Adira's team remained undeterred, offering the drink in a calm, unhurried manner. "Just a moment of peace," Adira said, "before we get into the details. We've got time." The Icthar leader, a massive being named Chikora, glared at the tea, but ultimately, as usual, curiosity got the better of him. The Bluvith diplomat, Solene, stood hesitantly, watching the Icthar, before eventually accepting a cup. "Do you understand what this represents?" Adira asked them both, sitting down across from the diplomats and pouring the tea with practiced ease. "It's more than just a drink, it's the first step in reaching an understanding. In this galaxy, you've both seen endless violence, but in human tradition, we believe peace can be found even in the smallest of actions." Solene carefully sipped from the cup, his glowing eyes flickering with something approaching intrigue. Chikora followed suit, though more reluctantly. The silence stretched on as the aroma of the herbs filled the room, the tension in the air slowly starting to ease. Several hours later, after discussions that seemed to flow effortlessly, Adira stood before both factions, their leaders now somewhat placated. The battle lines between the Icthar and the Bluviths were still there, but now, they were no longer armed and snarling at each other. The tea had done its work, softened them, if only a little. "We will begin our formal talks tomorrow," Adira said, her smile genuine, though cautious. "But I hope we've made some progress today. This galaxy is full of differences, but that's no reason to destroy everything. Sometimes, the smallest gesture can change the course of history." As the two factions slowly departed, their delegates still muttering quietly, the human delegation exchanged looks. "We've done it again, haven't we?" one of the team members asked with a grin. Adira nodded. "Tea is only the start, it's the message that matters." Back at the human home world, news of the peace between the Icthar and Bluviths spread quickly. The humans had done it again, found a way to bring two warring factions to the negotiating table, using nothing but their quiet diplomacy and the unassuming act of boiling water. Across the galaxy, species began to take notice. What was once considered a joke, humanity's odd tradition of boiling water, was now seen as something far more profound. In a galaxy that often seemed to value strength above all else, humanity had shown that there was power in humility, in connection, in patience. And so, humanity's reputation continued to grow, not just as survivors, but as masters of boiling water and masters of peace. The ripple effect, a new era of diplomacy. The Ixthar and Blviths weren't the only species to take note of humanity's methods. As the years passed, the story of the boiling water diplomats, as they came to be called, spread throughout the galaxy. It wasn't just the oddity of humans offering tea that caught the attention of other species, it was the undeniable success rate. In a universe where entire planets had been obliterated over petty squabbles and misunderstandings, humanity's ability to bring seemingly irreconcilable factions to the table with nothing but boiling water and patience became legendary. The concept was simple, but powerful. The boiling water represented something far beyond a mere beverage. It was a universal symbol that transcended species, an invitation to pause, reflect, and engage in dialogue. The humans were offering not just tea but their time, their attention, and their willingness to understand and empathize with the needs of others. It wasn't long before other races began to adopt similar practices. The Zeltraxians, whose massive crystalline bodies often communicated more through sound vibrations than words, began hosting resonance teas, moments where disputes were settled not through the vibration of their weapons but the harmonic vibrations of their voices, resonating together in peaceful unison over a shared, calming brew. The Rinthari, experts in light-based communication, took it one step further. They didn't use boiled water. Instead, they created dazzling light displays, manipulating colors to represent the heat of the moment, calming the temperature of conflicts in the same way humans had calmed the boiling waters of tension. Even the war-hardened Torvath, a species known for their brutal efficiency in battle, adopted the concept in their own way. They began to hold what they called the Boil for Balance meetings, where, after days of negotiating, the final agreement would be made over a communal meal, often consisting of a thick broth that had to be stirred with their multiple sets of claws. It was a laborious process, but it was theirs, and the act of sharing such a simple meal marked the beginning of cooperation rather than conflict. Back on Naxxius V, Captain Elias Moore stood before a new set of ambassadors. This time, however, the species were more diverse than ever: Averyite raiders, Ixthorian warriors, and even the small but fiercely intellectual Paxoli, all eager to learn from the humans. As they sat down, steaming cups of tea in front of them, Elias couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey they'd taken. "What's the key, Captain?" one of the Averyite traders asked, looking at the boiling kettle curiously. "Why does this work?" Elias smiled. "It's not about the tea, it's about understanding that, no matter our differences, we're all just trying to find our place in this universe. The boiling water is an invitation to pause, to step back and consider that we might just have more in common than we think." The Paxoli ambassador, his many eyes blinking in unison, added, "There is wisdom in simplicity, and patience." "We'll show you," Elias said, pouring the tea carefully. "Take a sip, and listen. The galaxy may be full of chaos, but it's also full of opportunity, for peace, for understanding." The simple act of boiling water became the symbol of that, and now, it's our legacy. Across the stars, other human colonies began following suit. Human diplomats weren't just known for their military prowess or technical ingenuity anymore. They were known as peacemakers, bringing peace not with fleets or weapons, but with kindness, patience, and the shared act of boiling water. The greatest challenge, however, was yet to come. A new species, the Thalkorians, arrived on the galactic scene, their ships resembling massive, floating dark clouds of swirling gas. They had watched the rise of human diplomacy with growing interest, and some of their leaders were already questioning the true power behind humanity's success. It was said that the Thalkorians could manipulate space itself, bending light and gravity to their will. Their immense size and advanced technology made them seem invincible. No one had ever known how to approach them. The galaxy held its breath. Adira Klein, now a seasoned ambassador, was once again called into action. The Thalkorians had arrived at Naxxius V, and their leader, a towering being known as Maltha, had sent a request for a meeting. There was no way to predict what the encounter would entail, but one thing was certain: the boiling water had worked before, and it would work again. As the Thalkorian representatives arrived, their gaseous forms shifting in and out of visible matter. They were greeted with a sight unlike anything they had ever encountered: simple, human hospitality, a table set with steaming cups of tea, the soft clink of ceramic cups, and the calm smile of an ambassador who understood that diplomacy could take many forms. Maltha's tendrils stretched forward, hovering over the tea with a peculiar hesitation. "You are known for your unusual methods," he intoned, his voice deep and resonant. "What is it that makes you think this will work?" Adira's gaze never wavered. She poured the tea slowly, her voice steady. "It works because it isn't about what we offer, it's about why we offer it. We offer peace, and in return, we offer understanding." For a moment, there was silence. Maltha's gaseous form swirled, as if considering the words. Then, slowly, he extended one of his tendrils to take the cup. "You have my attention," Maltha said, his voice resonating deeper now, the weight of his words clear. "Let us begin." In that moment, the galaxy knew that humanity's gift was not just in boiling water, it was in boiling away the tensions that divided worlds. It was in the understanding that, even in the face of seemingly impossible odds, a simple act of kindness could change the course of history. And so, the masters of boiling water continued their work, spreading peace, one cup at a time, across the stars.